looking at a flower would change your life. It's scientifically proven. Why you'll get smarter the more you feel love and happiness. I mean, while somebody's just freaking tortured you and um, took away your house, destroy the friggin' planet. Just about every negative experience that I'm experiencing is causing me enormous pain. And your brain is a chemical factory. And when you get addicted to a thought, a belief, your brain is actually making this chemical that's feeling the pain. And you put text to it. So if you change the text you tell yourself, you change the chemicals your brain will make. And and my son getting married without his mother is like the most painful experience. And the lies that my kids are made to believe to be true is also extremely painful. And the rule inside my head was, it's okay to feel pain because pain is a measure of how much you really do care. If you didn't care, you'd have no pain. How else would you show you care if it didn't hurt a little? Um, and that was a rule that, I kind of looked at, kind of examined, and until I thought, this ain't really working too well. If I really, really did care, then I would give to my kids what it is that they're lacking in their life. And they'll tell me what it is they want. And that's the deal of, you give your enemy or your perceived enemy what it is they want. And the people that aren't nice to me would be the people that, let's put it negative or positive, and call good and evil negative or positive is the way I look at it. And so to me, it's like my own children that I have unconditional love for would be my enemy. And I love them. It's just we aren't getting along. So I'm their enemy. And to them, I am their perceived enemy that they can't talk to or invite to a wedding. So there is some kind of story there that isn't true if both sides of this really, really deeply love each other but can't seem to be in the same room and communicate effectively. And there's a lie in there. So I will be perceived as the one that's believing the lie, or they will be the one perceived and believed in a lie. One way or another, there's a contradiction there that if you got into counseling with the right counselor, you'd be looking at, the rules that we're living by and the beliefs that we're living by. And if you change one belief, you change how you react to that belief. You change the chemicals in your head. So that's why, using this bottled water concept has basically saved my life, because it made me get off track of the same old story that was replaying over and over again, and made me focus on what it is I really wanted to focus. I wanted to focus on feeling love and happiness, because I know if I'm feeling love and happiness inside, then the rest of my world I'll perceive it to be loving and happy. And what I wanted to mention is it is left brain thinking, that you develop a rule and that rule gets played over and over and over and over again. And as long as you have that rule, you have a behavior that fits within that rule. If this happens, then do that. It's the same as computer programming. Like you are programming your own mind through your left brain rules. But if you get into right brain is imagination. Right brain is where you get a good idea. Right brain is where you shift your rules into something completely different. And it's imaginative. It's crazy in there. That's where you might see some insanity going on, because the left brain won't make sense out of something that doesn't make any sense. But you need to formulate new ideas from things that don't make too much sense. And does it make sense that if you don't have the solution to any problem you're dealing with, if your best advice is stare at a flower until you see the beauty in it, and when you see the beauty in that, see that same level of beauty within yourself, and then start asking some good questions. I don't even have to tell you what the questions are. You will know what the good questions are simply by being in that state of mind. Because they're imaginative type questions. They're out of the box, out of your box type questions, because you're using a different side of your brain to get there. So that's why it's like, no matter how much harm has come to you, it's like, be the druggist making your own chemicals of what it is you want to experience. And there's another challenge with it, that if you are experiencing a level of love and happiness, then what's going to come out in your world is going to be something you can't imagine. Because it's like God will always give you something greater than you can imagine. Because whatever it is you see as a solution, your subconscious brain knows deeper than you. So it will bring to you something you don't know you really want. And for the most part, how something new comes into your life is going to seem like a big, massive problem. Um, you could lose your house, but on a subconscious basis, you probably didn't even want that house. You probably didn't enjoy the pressures of that lifestyle. There's probably something making you sick that you seen was wrong. And in order to change that, you needed to make a shift within your lifestyle. And the universe is just bringing to you the changes that you need to make in your life. Now, by doing that, you can take advantage of everything. You have to admit you're wrong. Every single one of us are wrong. I am wrong. Otherwise, everything would be right. So, it is accepting. I mean, when I lost my car, it was like, that was the greatest thing. I perceived it as the greatest thing. I couldn't have transportation. I lost an awful lot that a transportation and a car gave me, but I didn't have the stress of insurance bills that I couldn't afford to pay, and the car payments that I couldn't afford to pay, and the high gas prices that I couldn't afford to pay. And it's like I lived in an area that was like the biggest vacation area in Canada. It's beautiful. It was healthier for me to walk and see all nature. So it was like, good. I'm forced into it. The universe is forcing me to see the beauty in life by taking away my car. So it's like I had to let go, and because it wasn't working for me. I wasn't able to access the best part of my brain by being in a car and not actually getting at one with nature. Like, I knew what it is I needed to do, but I needed to do the work. And, I could see the logic, but now it was time for me to do the work. So I'm still not perfect yet. It's like it's shifting billions of years of DNA. Once you overcome one, there's another, and there's another, and another. So you can see in front of your nose something completely different if you change some of your rules. Um, if we changed our rule of all things must die, how would that change your perspective? Just changing that one rule. Not all things need to die. Um, and change that rule to everything must live. That is your guide to living a good life. That is your guide to creating heaven. If we focused 100% on nothing dies, you actually are starting to create heaven. Now, that might mean people are dying, but when you see somebody dying, that's when you look at, what was the cause? What caused that cause? What was the cause of the cause of the cause? What was the cause of the cause of the cause of the cause? If we eliminate all causes that end human life, we will see a completely different perspective. And there's a lot of money in that. Just the same amount of money as destroying a friggin' planet. The thing is that this time around, if you want to be greedy, you can't be greedy at the cost of killing somebody. So it's like, how much of a genius are you if you can still run an economic system where nobody dies and you still get to be greedy and have it all? I think that's the, if you want to be a genius at something, be a genius at giving yourself everything at the cost of giving everybody else everything. I mean, these things are possible if you just change a few rules that you live by. Um, but some of these rules, without you seeing what they cause, that's where you get a corporation justifying killing people, because when people get cancer in their area, then they can say, I'm not responsible, all things die. It's your lifestyle. Yet a big corporation isn't seeing that they are the ones forcing the lifestyle on you, because you can only get a job through that corporation. um, then the money that you earn, you can only buy the products that that corporation only makes available in your economic system. So who is giving you the options? Are they just making you believe you have options when you really don't, when it's forced on you so much? And then when you see the structure of it, can you break out of it? And it's like, yeah, hell yeah, it's just your perception. If you want to think that a corporate structure is the way to go at the cost of killing all of humanity, then go at it and enjoy your death. But if you want to believe that we can have a completely different economic system, and we can do things right, and we can solve all problems, there's another rule. You can't solve all problems. You can't make everybody happy all the time. Why not? Why can't I be happy and you happy at the same time? Why is that a complicated thing? It's just a communication problem. We are not understanding each other. Why? Because we're all left brain thinking. We're all trying to be so freaking smart that the only way you get smart is by training your left brain to believe rules that don't freaking work. Get rid of that freaking left brain thinking, and everybody say, okay, I could be wrong. Let's all get loving. Love your life. If you were going to create a perfect life, don't you have to make it exciting? Don't you have to love your life? And then what makes exciting? What makes an exciting life? Overcoming a challenge? I mean, so right now we're in the biggest challenge ever. It's just an adventure. It's who's going to be the smartest guy that pulls humanity out of its own death trap. We'll get there because the answers have showed up. We just need to walk the walk. So that's what gives me hope is at least the answers showed up. Just because we don't all know the answers means shit. It just means that's one of the requirements is, okay, now we all need to know the answers to everything. And you'll know the answers to everything if you can just get yourself friggin' loving and peaceful during your biggest challenges, and in your biggest challenge say, okay, what's good about this? How can I benefit and the rest of my world benefit from this challenge that I'm facing? And you'll see, you'll solve your problems so friggin' fast. It works for me. I am living a life that I don't have to stress. And I'm living a life where I can see that I can even make improvements. There's nothing better about being on the bottom than to have the adventure of getting back on top again. You know, I love to tell a good story. To say I was this low before, and if I could pull myself out of something this big, this bad, and let's face it, at my age, trying to find work when the economy is freaking down, um, if I can get myself back up and running, so can the rest of the freaking planet. So it's possible. Um, and just because I'm not there yet doesn't mean it ain't going to happen. If I was able to do this over and over and over again, I mean, I've seen the patterns of my own life. Nobody else knows who I am or what I've accomplished, but I've accomplished the impossible many times. That's why I know how to get out of this. Like, oh, I've been here before. I've seen myself get out of it. Oh, now I've got bigger rules because now I know, okay, don't count on the systems that are existing. That was my mistake last time, is I was counting on the systems. But it all taught me to trust in myself and create my own system. Piece of cake. Get peaceful and loving and start Ask the Universe, and you'll get some really good answers. Peace out.